This conference will now be recorded.
In last session, we discussed about Azure Data Factory, and we created the resource in a portal, guys. Okay. So in today's session, I'm going to teach about storage accounts and how exactly we need to create the storage accounts, and so how exactly we need to move data from source to target, right? So we discussed it right in a previous session. So I'm going to give the glimpse about what we are going to discuss in today's session. Okay. So both are cloud storages, guys. Okay. So I just want to move data from blob storage to data lake storage Gen 2 using ADF service. Since we already created ADF service, right? So let's drag here, and I have a file one here. For example, so I'll take simple file one, and I want to move this file one to Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 using ADF service. Okay. Azure Data Factory. Okay, so using this tool, using this ADF tool, I want to move this file one to target ADLS Gen 2. Okay, so as we already discussed in a previous session, it's nothing but a courier. How exactly you need to courier from India to US. So just moving the data from file one blob storage to data lake storage Gen 2. Since we already created ADF service in a portal, and today's session I'm going to teach you how exactly you need to create a blob storage and data lake storage Gen 2, and how do we access and how do we upload this file one in the blob storage, and how exactly you need to connect to the blob storage, and how exactly you need to move the file to data lake Gen 2. Okay, so file one, my intention is to transfer file one to data lake Gen 2, and both are cloud storages, guys. The storage accounts are available are in a cloud. Okay, both are in a cloud. Okay, so both are in Azure cloud, no need to worry. So just need to move data from blob to data lake Gen 2 using ADF service. So that is our task. So how we need to implement, and before going to connect to the blob storage, we should have that resource right in a portal. So but we have not created it. Only we created it is ADF service, right? So I have not created any storage accounts yet. And let's discuss about the blob storage and data lake storage Gen 2, and how exactly we need to create the storage accounts in a portal. Okay, go to home. This is a home page for portal, and here you can see storage accounts, right? So this is a resource where you need to create. Just click on storage accounts. So in a cloud, so you can see there are different types of storage accounts I have created for the previous batches. So no need to worry, we'll freshly create the storage accounts. So storage accounts, guys, in the sense you can load any kind of data. Okay, so there are different types of storage accounts here. We have a blob storage, we have data lake storage Gen 2, we have table, queue, disk. There are different kinds of storage accounts. Okay, so by clicking on create, I can see here Azure storage is a Microsoft Manager service. Okay, so in a basics tab, you can see Azure storage is a Microsoft Manager service providing cloud storage. Okay, that is highly available, secure, durable, scalable, and redundant. So what it means? So when it comes to any storage account, guys, okay, whether it is blob storage or a data lake, so whether it is table, queue, whatever the storage accounts we have in a cloud. So Microsoft Azure storage, in the sense, they are Azure Blob Storage, Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2, Azure Files, Azure Queues, Azure Tables. Okay, these are all comes under storage accounts. Okay, so you can in a blob storage you can load any kind of data, guys. Okay, any kind of data, in the sense it might be structured data, it might be unstructured data, it might be semi-structured data, right? So unstructured data, in the sense, like your text messages when you are doing WhatsApp chats, right? They are unstructured data, right? So when you are trying to do chatting through Facebook and Messenger or anywhere, they're unstructured data, right? So and when you try to load any kind of CSV files, or we can call it as a structured data. CSV, in the sense, comma separated value, or Excel files, they are structured format. And when it comes to JSON, Parquet, ORC, they are semi-structured kind of data. Okay, so we'll discuss about JSON, how the format would be going forward, and what is Parquet format, and also we can discuss with the snappy compression, and what is the advantage of using Parquet in real time when we are trying to do big data analytics, we can discuss. Okay, and the cost of your storage account depends on the usage. Okay, depends on the usage and the options below you selected. So I can see here subscriptions, project details. So for every resource, while creating in a portal, you have to be passed the required information, guys. Okay. So while you submitting the login form, right? When you were trying to log in Amazon, when you try to book a ticket through Redbus or IRCTC, as we discussed, Abibus or anything, you generally, what you need to do, you need to sign up first, right? You need to enter your details. Same here also. So when you create this resource, when you create this storage account, you have to enter. Okay. So what it is asking, subscription, right? So now first I need to pass the subscription. Okay. So we already discussed what is the subscription. This is the subscription I have passed, and so under this subscription, I'm trying to create the storage account resource. So here, resource group, and I have created multiple resource group for previous batches, and we can use our resource group, and this is our resource group. If you need to create a legacy storage account type, please click here. So I'm going to create the new one, not legacy one. I mean, older versions I'm not going to use. I'm going to use the newer versions. Storage account name. You can pass storage account name here. You can pass any name, but it should be in case sensitive, guys. Okay, remember this point. It should be passed in a small letter, small case. So ADF blob storage. Okay. So I'm going to create a blob storage. This is my storage account name. Okay, and I'm going to keep this storage account under this region, guys. Okay, so under this region I'm going to keep this, and standard. So this are all standard and premium, in the sense, generally when you talk about your laptops, guys. Okay, so you have some hard disks. Nowadays we have SSDs come into picture, right? So standard, in the sense, kind of hard disk is recommended for most of the scenarios. Premium, in the sense, recommended for the scenarios that require low latency, right? Low latency, in the sense, when you request something, you'll get the output immediately, right? So when you hit the page, right, when you try to log in Amazon or any apps, right? So when you hit something, right, so you'll expect that response immediately, right? That is what the latency, right? Request and response is fast. So you have to be understand few things. So we have passed the HTTPS, and we are passing the performance and all, right? All these information is needed for you to create a storage account, right? So each region we have to be keep all the metadata information of the storage account. So we'll discuss that. Okay. So redundancy. So redundancy means so generally, guys, when we talked about even in your laptop, right? So if you have any personal information, right? Is there in your laptop, and there are some photos or the information is very secure, but even you don't want to lose that information, and you want to move that personal information to maybe hard drive, another drive, or you want to keep it in maybe in any other drives. Okay. So what you need to do, you will remove you will just replicate the data, right? You just want to take this data and you just want to move it to your personal drive or anywhere, right? So that's what is happening here. Okay. In real time, what will happen, your business data is very critical, guys, right? So whatever the business it is, the customer they want to even if you lost the data in one physical server, right? There is some things can happen, right? There is some natural disasters, there should be issue with your mission hard drives, right? So maybe hard drive got crash, there might be some network issues. uh, Parish, we'll discuss about end of the session. Okay, I'll discuss all the questions. So geo-redundant storage, right? So so the data would be replicated, guys. Okay, even in your laptop, the data would be replicated, right? To the across the different missions. Maybe you want to keep that data into maybe your personal drive, right? So here in a cloud environment, if you lost the data in one physical server, right? So we will replicate the data to multiple servers. Okay. So we have different options: local redundant storage, geo redundant storage, zone redundant storage, geo zone redundant storage. Okay. So we have four different options. So when we talk about locally redundant storage, this is the lowest cost option with a basic protection against server rack and drive failures. So it's recommended for non-critical scenarios, guys. Okay. So this option will use when you are trying to do some POC, proof of concept, when you're trying to do some practice, right? So you can use these options. This is we cannot use this option in a real time, guys. Okay, this is used for POC purpose. This is used for if you are trying to practice anything with respect to this storage accounts, you can use this locally redundant storage. Okay, so you cannot think about even if you lost the data, there is no because there is only one data center. Okay, with respect to locally redundant storage, there is only one data center. The replication factor is 3. Still locally redundant also, we have replication factor is 3 within the data center with the different servers. Okay, different racks and different servers. If you lost the data from one physical server, you can still get back the data from other server which is available in the same data center. But what is happening with respect to local redundant storage? If you lost the entire data center, there might be some natural disaster happens, like Ukraine, right? Everyone knows that. So the Microsoft data centers are there in even in Ukraine as well, and they lost that entire data center, but they still have the data is replicated in other regions, right? So what they're trying to do, they'll get back the data from the other regions, right? So this type of things can happen, guys. Okay. So if you lost the entire data center, you can still get back the data from the other data centers from other regions, right? So geo redundant storage in the sense it is replicated across the globe. Okay, it's replicated in, this is an intermediate option. This is, see here, geo redundant storage. So intermediate option with the failure capabilities in a secondary region recommended for backup scenarios. What it means, if you lost the data maybe in one data center, right? So one data center, one maybe it's there in for example, guys, I'll give an example. I have three different data centers which are available in Hyderabad, Delhi, Chennai. Okay, so if I lost the data, there was some issues in the Chennai. There might be some floods or something else can happen, and entire data center loss, right? What I can do now, and I can get back the data from the other data centers, which is already replicated the data to the other regions as well, right? That's what I have mentioned. So that's where geo-redundant storage is come into picture, but a replication factor with respect to geo-redundant storage is 3. Okay, the data is replicated in 3 different regions, and I'll get back the data from the other regions as well. So there might be the scenarios if sometimes the customers they don't agree with the replication factor is 3, they want replication factor is 6 based on business criticality, right? So geo-redundant storage, this is an intermediate option with the protection against data center level failures, and it's recommended for high availability scenarios, guys. Okay, so this is basically an where we have different zones in a single country. Okay, so different zones will establish, and we will get back the data from other zones. Okay, so but replication factor is 6 with respect to zone redundant storage and the geo zone redundant storage also. Geo zone redundant storage in the sense the data would be replicated across different regions. Okay, and optimal data protection solution that includes offering of both the GRS and ZRS. So geo zone redundant in the sense it's a combination of both the geo redundant storage and zone redundant storage, guys. Okay. So with respect to zone redundant storage and the geo zone redundant storage, replication factor is 3. It's recommended for only critical scenarios. Okay, business critical scenarios. So these are all the replication options which we have while creating the storage account. Even if you lost the data, the main intention of redundancy is even if you lost the data in one region or one physical server, you should be able to use and the data would be replicated in other regions, other servers, right? So geographically, so you have to be choose that the correct one. If you lost the data in one data center, you could connect to the other data centers. Okay, so there is no data loss here, right? So 99.999% data is available. Okay, so no need to worry about the data loss in the cloud, Azure cloud, right? Since the data would be replicated across globe and across regions and different data centers and all, right? So based on criticality of your data, you can choose this redundancy options accordingly. Okay. Advanced. So next we can talk about the security, right? So security in the sense, so while data is in moving from one place to another place, for example, the data is available in the storage account, right? We can load the data into storage account and we can get the data from the storage account, right? So what we need to do here, the security kind of options, guys. Okay, so when it comes to storage account, requires secure transfer for REST API operations. So all these checkbox are default. I'm not going to change anything. Requires secure transfer for REST API operations. So what it means? So REST API in the sense this is one of the API, guys. Okay, this is running based on REST protocol, representational state transfer protocol, REST, Representational State Transfer Protocol. And this basically when you transfer anything, right? So like you can see here, they'll also keep that why we need to use this REST API operations in block storage, the secure transfer option, guys. Okay, enhance the security of your storage account by only allowing REST API operations on the storage account using HTTPS. Any request using HTTP will be rejected when the setting is enabled. And when this setting is enabled, when you are using the Azure file service, connections without encryption will fail, including scenarios using SMB 2.1, SMB 3.0 without encryption, and some flavors of Linux SMB client. So this is basically if you are trying to hit that HTTP, it won't. You can connect to that storage account using the REST API as well, And so what exactly this option is saying, that the data is very secure and you cannot connect through HTTP, you have to connect to HTTPS. Okay. And enable public access. So this is enable public access in the sense you can see here. Uh, so when blob public access is enabled, once one is permitted to configure container ACL to allow anonymous access to blob. So what it means, guys, when you no need to worry about all this in depth, guys. Okay, I'll explain that at a high level so that you can remember. So when you try to connect to this storage account, right? So we have different authentication mechanisms, guys. Okay. So authentication in the sense we will discuss, and we have some account key, service principal, system managed identity, user assignment, different kinds of authentication mechanisms we have. We can connect without using this authentications. We'll directly connect using anonymous access. No need to pass any username and password. So, so you can connect directly to that storage account from Azure Data Factory. So this is enable storage account key access in the sense you can be able to connect using key. Okay, account key also you can be able to connect. And a default to Azure Active Directory authorization in the Azure portal. If you want to, you are already part of Azure Active Directory. Your IDs and credentials and everything is there in Azure Active Directory, so that you can directly access to this portal. Okay, so you should be able to enable this checkbox if you are authenticating with Azure Active Directory. Okay, so minimum TLS version. So this is a transaction layer security, guys. So what it means, so while data is in a rest mode, or while data is moving from one place to another place, so the data is very secure, guys. Okay, the data would be encrypted and you cannot able to view the you cannot, anyone cannot read the data. So the data is very secure, guys. Okay, minimum TLS version is 1.2. This is the latest version. We have 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, and this is the latest version I'm using. I can see here 1.0, 1.1, 1.2. Right? So I can use the latest version. So permitted scope of copy operations is still in this is a preview, in the sense this is in development stage. No need to use, guys. Okay. So I'm going to create a blob storage now, right? So data lake storage gen 2. I don't want to touch this tab now. I'll create this later point of time. So I'm creating a blob storage, right? So this is a blob storage. So in interview point of view, if anyone asks about the access tier, guys, so this is the cross-tenant application. So allow object replication to copy blobs to destination account on a different Azure Active Directory. So you can connect to different Azure Active Directory tenant as well. You can use this cross-tenant application options. Okay. So different Active Directory in the sense different accounts you can connect and you can just load all the data. Okay. So access styles, guys. Okay, so this is important, guys. Okay, in interview point of view they will ask about what is access style. Sometimes in a real time they will ask about this blob storage, and so we have different tiers in a blob storage or data lake. We have hot tier, we have cold tier, and there is another tier is the archive tier. You cannot able to see here after you created this storage account, you can see the archive tier as well. So what is this access types, right? So if you are see here, the account access tier is the default tier that is inferred by the blob without an explicitly set tier. The hot access tier are ideal for frequently accessed data, and the cool access tier is ideal for infrequently accessing data. The archive access tier can only be set the blob level and not at the account level. What it means, when you are trying to access the data very frequently, guys. Okay, when you are trying to access the data very frequently, you need to use this access tier. Okay, hot tier you need to use. Okay, trying to access frequently, right? Yeah, from the storage account you can use most we can use the hot tier only, but sometimes you can use this storage account infrequently, guys. Okay, remember this point. When you are trying to access the data infrequently, you need to use cool tier. Okay, So cool tire is if you're trying to access the data infrequently, you need to use a cool tire. And if you are accessing the data occasionally, maybe cool tire in the sense maybe monthly I can access one time or two times. That's it. Okay. So but archive tire in the sense occasionally, guys. Okay, maybe yearly once, maybe last 2 years, maybe last 2 years data you want to access, right? So you can keep that data in archive tag. Okay, so you cannot see that archive tag here. Once you created this account, then only you can see at a blob level or file level, you can see this archive tag. Okay, so I'm not going to change anything, guys. I just want to use the default options what we have with respect to blob storage. And this is Azure files. I don't need to worry about. I am going to create Azure blob storage, right? So and that's it. I don't want to change anything. Next, networking. So till now everything is common, guys. Till now, even in a real time also they'll create it. But when it comes to real time, you should understand the network connectivity. So we cannot use enable public access from the all the networks, right? So if it is enabled, everyone can be able to access your storage account, right? So you should not do that. So what you need to do, enable public access from the selected virtual networks and IP addresses. You need to create a virtual separate environment. Okay, so you have to be whitelist that IP address. You need to create that virtual network, and you need to whitelist that IP addresses for that specific region. Okay, so what it means, how we need to connect, and how you need to create this virtual network, we can see that. Okay, so how we need to connect using manager private endpoint, because these things you have to understand, guys. Okay, so real time you should understand these concepts. Enable public access from the selected virtual networks and IP addresses. How we need to whitelist the IP address, and where do we find this IP addresses? How do we get in Google? Once we search that public IP ranges, we will get from Microsoft. There is a document Microsoft is providing, and for that for the each region that we can discuss. Okay, disable public access and use only private endpoint, private access, guys. Okay, sometimes what we need to do to securely connecting, you do not want any public access, and you want to use manager private endpoint to connect to this storage account. Okay, so these are all different ways to connecting to the storage accounts. Okay, so if you are trying to use a virtual network concept for securely connecting, you can use that. But you do not want public access at all, you can use this private access. Okay, so how we need to create this private access, we can discuss. No need to worry. So next, so this is a default routing, guys. Okay, so this is a default routing. No need to change anything. Microsoft network routing. No need to go to internet routing, guys. This is the default routing. Okay, in every service we are following the same approach. Microsoft network routing only. Okay, so what it means when it comes to uh, recovery, guys. Okay, if somebody deleted the file by mistake, somebody deleted the file from the blob storage, right? So even if you delete the data from the blob storage or any storage account, you can still get back the data. Remember this point, guys. Even if somebody delete the file from the storage account, you can still get back the data based on this default retention period strategy. So I can see here days to retain deleted blobs, right? And enable point in time restore for container. So use point in time restore one or more containers to the earlier state. You want current state to earlier state, you can be able to use this checkbox. And enable soft delete for blob. If somebody deleted the file and the default retention period is 7 days, and you can keep till 65 days. Okay, I can see, please enter the number in between 1 and 365, and so you can keep like this. The default retention period, guys, I can show you even if you deleted the file, how you need to get back that file. And enable soft delete for containers, and enable soft delete for file shares. So these are all different options we have, and we can use these options, and where even if you lost any data at container level, if you lost any container, see here, soft delete by containers. If somebody deleted the container by mistake, you can still get back that container. We have the default retention period is 7 days. Okay. So these are all guys. Okay, so I'm going to use the default options, and so these are also our manage versions and keep tracking of changes made to your blob data. So if you keep changing your blob data, you want to maintain the different versions, right? So you can keep that enable versioning of blobs and enable blob change feed. Keep tracking of all your modifications and delete the sometimes you delete the file, sometimes you modify the files, right? So all your tracking, all your versions, right? So you can keep track of that. And so if you can keep track of that, if you need to enable these options. Okay, so the below options here, you can see these options you need to enable if you want to maintain those. So version level immutability support, what it means, allows you to set time-based retention policy on the account level that will apply to all the blob versions. Okay, so enable this feature to set a default policy. No need to set all these things based on your requirement. You can choose this. But this option, enable version level immutability support, allows you to set time-based retention policy on the account level that will apply to all blob versions. So these are all the settings we need, guys. We need from the customers. Okay. So that's the reason we never ever create this storage account resources. Who is closely working with the customers, and they will create the resources for you. And you no need to worry about creating the services in a portal. Okay. Our architects or admins can create for BF of us. Okay. So encryption type, guys, all these are default. You no need to change anything. So by default, you are going to use a managed Microsoft Manager keys. If you want to customer manager keys, you can use this option. Okay. So I don't want to use the customer manager keys, but there are few customers who they can choose if they are not believe with the Microsoft Manager keys. But most of the scenarios we can use Microsoft Manager keys only. Okay, in real time. So there are very rare scenarios where people can also use the customer manager keys. And they need to select this option, and then they'll use customer manager keys accordingly. Okay, and they have to generate this key vault and key everything if you can use the customer manager keys. So you do not know anything about the key vault service, how the your credentials should keep in a key vault. So that we can discuss, that is a different service. Just try to understand at high level. I'm trying to create a blob storage. This is just a storage account where we can keep the data. That's it. Okay. So all these points we can discuss later point of time. So now running final validation. Validation is passed. I'm going to create all these options, guys. Okay. So we just passed. So all are default option only, right? So I have not changed anything. So you can try to create the resource like this. So it's going to be create now in a portal. So it will take a while to create. Your deployment is complete. Once the deployment is complete, now this resource is created. Go to resource. I can see here overview tab, activity log, and all, right. So this is the overview tab in the sense these are all some essential details related to this storage account. So I can see, guys, here disk state, right? So I have selected here replication, right? But I don't want to read access geo redundant storage option. So I need a local redundant storage, right? But here we have selected read access geo redundant storage, and the primary available, secondary also available, right? So how we need to change this? Once you have created the storage account, that is fine, but how we need to change the storage account? So I can see here geo replication. Left side you can see the under data management geo replication. So I don't want to see here. So the data is replicated here, right? East US and West US. Even if you lost the data, I have two different data centers, and if you lost the data in one data center, you can still get back the data from the other data centers as well. Okay. For each data center, you can specify, guys. Okay, you can specify your replication strategy accordingly. And I don't want here. I don't want here geo redundant storage because they will charge more on these options. So I'll change this. I'll configuration. So you can, there are few options you can change after you creating the storage account as well. Okay. So under the settings tab, there is a configuration, right? So here I want to use local redundant storage instead of geo redundant storage, right? Save it. So I'm using local redundant storage, guys. I don't want, because since I'm trying to practice about this different types of examples with respect to the storage account, I don't want geo geo redundant storage, but I just want to show you how the replication is working. Okay.
Suresh, sorry for interrupting, but I just joined a little bit late today. Um, could you please let me know if you want us to do this parallelly, like creating a Azure account and all, or are you just telling
No,
us
you
how?
can. Yeah, you can practice offline, guys. If you want to do online also, you can do it. Because when I start explaining, right, so for you to create, I think it's very difficult. Or if you want to do that, you can do it. Otherwise, I can share this recorded session. You can practice.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, Suresh. Thank you.
Yeah. So activity log. So these are all overview. This is the overview tab where you can be able to see some essential details related to this storage account and resource group and whatever the details you have entered, right? Like your login page, right? So what you need to enter some details about yourself and all, right? So like here also we have to enter the details related to the storage account and based on our client requirement, and resource group, location, subscription name, subscription ID, this will generate automatically. Disk state available, and performance I have selected standard, and replication I have used local redundant storage, account kind storage version 2, and the provisioning state succeed. So all these options I have created. Right? And I can see here blob service. This is a blob storage, hierarchical namespace is disabled. So these are all the options I have selected while creating the storage account, right? So you can see here upload option, right? I can see here open in Explorer, delete, move. If you want to delete this, you can delete it. If you want to move anything, you can be able to move it. Okay. And this is for refresh. And if you want to connect, move another subscription also, you can be able to move. Okay. Move to another resource group also, you can do it. Okay. So the same storage account, guys, I'm talking about. If you want to move to another subscription, another resource group, now I am into my subscription. Yes, Pallapoli is my subscription, but I don't want to this storage account in my subscription. I want to move it to the another subscription or another resource group. So you can still do that. Okay. So refresh option, and this is for mobile. If you want to connect to the mobile, and you can use this mobile option. And this is the open explorer option, guys. Okay. What you need to do with this option, in real time what will happen, we have, you maybe heard this different environments, right? We have dev, test, stage, production, so different environments, right? So you can just need to, because for each environment in real time we have a separate storage account. We do not want to keep all the data into single storage account, and we'll keep the data into, for production I'll use separate storage account, and I'll keep all my production data into separate storage, right? So you can connect to all these kinds of storage accounts, right? So in real time, you will have that multiple storage accounts, but you want to connect all the storage accounts in one place. So there is a open in Explorer. There is a open in Explorer option. You need to download this Azure Storage Explorer, because real time we have to use this software to configure all the storage account at one place. Okay, so I don't want to go to each and every time portal. I don't want to open every storage account each and every time. I just want to download the storage explorer. I can configure my all storage accounts. Okay, so you can download this. So click on download now. That's it. Okay, click on download now. You'll automatically download the storage explorer. Click on download now. I can see storage explorer is downloaded. Okay, once it is downloaded, since I already have the storage explorer ready, okay, so it's an almost 104 MB file size. Okay, so once you downloaded, you have to be installed in our machine. Okay, I'll come to this once I start explaining all this information. I'll come to this and I'll show you how you need to configure this storage explorer. Okay, so try to download open in Explorer storage explorer option. Okay, so you can download Azure Storage Explorer here. Okay, click on this link. Okay, and now we have this activity log, and the activity log in the sense I have this so whatever the if somebody deleted the file, whatever the information with respect to storage account, you updated something, you deleted something, right? So all this information is going to be logged here. Okay, so this is a log information related to your storage account. You can see log last 6 hours, and I can see subscription details, right? So you can see resource group, resource details and everything. So you can see last 6 hours data. Okay, last 24 hours log, last 2 weeks, last month, right? So I can see till last 45 days log files I can see, guys. Okay, so remember this point. If you want to see if anyone deleted the file from the respective storage account, you can see all this information in the log. You can try to download in a CSV and you can search with that as well with the corresponding file. So this is for related to log, guys, with respect to storage account. Okay, whatever the activities you are going to perform inside the storage account, everything should log here. Okay, so tags we can use for billing purpose. That's what I have discussed already in a previous session. So diagnosis also we'll discuss, and if there is any diagnosis issues or you want to solve the problems, and so not required actually. This option we'll have that explore the most common problems for your resource. Okay, for blob storage. So from the documentation what exactly it is saying, and so you can actually read that information. So access control. So with respect to storage account, in a real time also you can see, guys. Okay, so what level of access they provided you. If you want to generally they won't give you access for creating containers, deleting the containers, right, updating the containers, or updating the files. They don't want to provide all this access to all these things, right? They can provide you maybe contributor access, right? So now I am the owner, I have the full access to this corresponding resource, right? But in real time they cannot provide you all these kinds of access. They can just want to write some data into blob storage, and they can provide you maybe you want to get the data from the storage account, right? So they can provide you only for read and write access for when you are trying to create a pipelines and you want to load some data into blob, and you want to read some data from the blob storage. Only they can provide you the access. They cannot provide you the access to delete the container, and to update to I mean you want to move it to a corresponding file to another folder. They cannot give you all these kinds of access. They can simply give you that read access and write access. That's it. Okay, so this is what my access. Okay, but real time, if you want to check your access, you can also check using this access control option. Okay, so in a blob storage, in a storage account, you can see this access control option. where you can check all this information. Okay, so data migration not required. This is completely related to, there is a variety of Azure data transfer solution available for customer. Please select the resource type and transfer scenario below. Okay, so this is one of, and we will guide you to the solution that best fits for your scenario. Please note that data transfer rate you observe is impacted by the size and the number of files in the transfer, as well as your infrastructure performance and the network utilization by other applications. So there are there are the data would be migrated maybe from your on-premises, right? So the number of files you read from the on-premises, like for example, in your local laptop, guys, you have 100 files in your laptop and you want to move it to the cloud. You can use these tools, browse data migration tools. No need to worry about, but there is some options are available. You also choose these options. Okay. So events not required. So storage explorer, storage browser. So storage browser option also you can use, guys. This is the area of, but this is not much familiar actually. Uh, no one is aware because earlier it was in a previous stage, and you can also use this. You can connect to your storage account, but open portal and open storage browser, and every time it's very difficult, right? So just use the storage explorer option instead of storage browser. But we have an options here. Okay, so blob containers, don't need to worry, guys, all this. Okay, so we will try to create a container and we just need to upload the file and we can access it. That's it. Okay, in a what I'm trying to explain here in a paint, right? I have explained file one, right? So we just need to create one container generally in real time. So I'll create my container name is raw, for example, right? So we'll keep it that in small. So this is my raw container. Under the raw container, I'll place this file one. Okay. So see here container. Okay. So like here storage in the sense, guys, in your laptop you have some C drive, D drive, E drive, F drive, right? So you can have the drive and you can keep the all the files in the drive, right? And so drive is nothing but a container. Okay, and inside a drive you can have multiple folders and you can keep your files under the folders, right? So here what I want to do, I'll create a container. I'll create a container here, raw container. Okay, so I'll create it. So public access level, so a default option I want to use, real time also will use it. So I have created the raw container now. Okay, so I can be able to upload the files. Okay, whatever I need I can be able to upload the file here. So upload, so for example, I want to take this particular file, okay, sales file, upload it. So this is the sales file I have. I just uploaded this file. Okay, so I want to move this particular file. Okay, I want to move this particular file to target data lake gen 2. So this is my source file. Okay, I just uploaded this file here. I want to move this particular file to the target. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to explaining in the paint. So I'm moving this file one to target data lake gen 2, right, using ADF service. So since we created the storage account and we created the container and we just uploaded on file, right? So these are all different storages, file shares, queues, and tables. I'll come to that. Containers. Okay, so main we should use the blob and data lake in a real time, guys. These two storage accounts we can keep using in a real time. So what is the advantage of using the storage account? What is the difference between blob and data lake? We can create after creating a data lake storage gen 2 as well. Okay, I can show you practically what is the difference between both the storage accounts. Okay, so now I can see here security plus networking, right? So I can have here networking options, right? So these are all net options we have while creating the storage account itself. You have seen all these points, right? Enabled from all the network, enabled from the selected virtual networks, and the private endpoint connections. We will see how we need to create all these things. And remaining all the options are access keys, right? So if I want to connect to this storage account using this key, okay,
So using this key, I can be able to, so this is my key. I can connect to the storage account using this key. Okay. So remember, guys, in a real time, you never ever change this. You never ever update this. You cannot click on this rotate key option. You cannot change this key in real time. Okay. You cannot share to anyone. So remember this point, you cannot share this key to anyone while working in a real time, guys. Okay, this is very, very confidential. Okay, and if you want to connect to the storage account, you can use this key as well. Okay. And this is a shared access signature. And shared access signature in the sense, if you want to provide a restricted access rights to Azure storage account resources, you can use this SAS, okay, shared access signature. So this basically is SaaS. Basically, in real time, you want to give access to someone, limited access. Maybe you want to provide, maybe today, this year, until this year, and you want to access the storage account, maybe and container based. You have multiple containers in the storage account, right? Multiple folders in the storage account. Uh, Container or folder, okay, or directory. So they both are same. So, but in a ADF Azure terminology, we can call it as a container. Okay. So you can talk, you can just simulate that with your laptop drives and all, right? So you just need to provide an access to someone. Okay. So I want to provide an access at container level, and maybe I have different containers. I have raw, refined, produced, different containers I have. But my client needs only the raw container access. So I'll give the access to that raw container and for the specific period of time. So these are all the things can be taken care by admin people, guys. No need to worry. Just a high level, I just want to teach you on this. So all these options. So you can see here allowed services, blob, in the sense file, blob storage we have, right? Allowed services, blob, file, queue, tables, different storages. Service types. You want to give an access at the entire blob storage level. You want to give at folder level. You want to give access at object level. Okay, object in the sense file level. So you can have different options here where you need to provide an access, whether you want to allow permissions, read, write, delete, list, add. There are different types of permissions. You can just read this information about this if you need more information about this permissions and all. And from start date to expiry date and what time to what time you want to give an access to your customer. You can also specify here start and end date. And so you can also allow that IP addresses so that people can be able to access within that IP range. Okay. So these are all the options we have. Remaining options, no need to worry. We have that monitoring options. We can discuss at a later point of time. We can have that how we need to send an alerts and all. I can show you later point. So this is a blob storage, guys. Okay. So have created Storage Explorer. I've just installed that my mission. Okay, so already installed, guys, in my mission. I'll show you in tomorrow session how you need to connect to this Azure. So this is Microsoft Azure Storage Explorer. So once you install, right, in tomorrow session we will discuss about this, how exactly you need to configure this Azure storage account. And after I have created the data lake gen 2, I'll show you, because we need multiple storage accounts where you should access this. Okay, so go to home page. So this is Azure, Microsoft Azure Storage Explorer. So I can have multiple subscriptions, multiple storage accounts, guys. Okay. So, but I need to open my subscription and I'll show you how many storage accounts. So we will see tomorrow once you have installed this Azure Storage Explorer. So let me open my storage account. So yeah, my subscription, I'll go to my subscription. So I can see, guys, here multiple subscriptions and multiple storage accounts, right? So I need to open my storage account, my blob storage. So I'll show you tomorrow how exactly you need to configure all these things. Okay, so this is my storage account, and we can have multiple storage accounts I've created for the previous batches. But we can have, I'll create a separate storage account for data lake and blob storage for your batch, and we can keep uploading the files in a blob, and we'll load the data into data lake. And like this, we can have multiple sources. Okay, we can connect to that, and we can connect to SFTP, we can connect to HTTP, we can connect to REST endpoints, we can connect to SQL Server. There are different kinds of sources. Going forward, I'll show you how exactly you need to connect to that sources, and you need to move data accordingly in a cloud. Okay. So that's it, guys. I'll take the questions now. You can go ahead, guys.
Suresh, I had one question. So, you started this session today by telling that you're going to transfer a file from blob storage to the Zen2,
Data
right?
lake.
You
Data lake.
just, yeah, data lake Zen2. So, you just uploaded that onto the container. So, did that transfer happen already, or there's still a
Not it,
step
not it,
left on?
not it, guys, not it. We just uploaded the file. We just created the service blob storage, and we just uploaded the file in a blob storage. We discussed about what are all blob storage is offering for you.
Okay.
Okay,
So, we'll
we
do that
discussed
transfer later, right?
later. So once we start creating data lake Gen 2, then we need to move data from blob to data lake. We just discussed in today's session about blob storage. Okay, so
Okay.
this is the
Okay.
storage account we are going to use most frequently in real time. So you should understand the concept related to this blob storage. And tomorrow's
Now,
session, I'll also create a data lake, and I'll show you how exactly you need to move this file one to file two. Yeah,
right. I had another question. You like had made that storage already. You had prepared that storage already. Let's suppose if I have to
correct.
start from the scratch, create this Azure Data Factory and create that subscription level as well. Because when I'm going over there, I'm seeing that there is no subscription level. It's just free trial. So do I have to
Correct.
select something, write something in that because it shows filter items? There is nothing in that.
Correct, correct. Since you are in a free trial, right? So I'm working in the real time, so I can see that multiple subscription. In once you start working in the real time, you can see multiple
Mhm.
subscriptions. So based on your business function, you can see multiple subscriptions there. And since you are in a free trial, right? So you're subscribing that free trial option, right? So that's the reason
Mhm.
you can see only that free trial option. But in real time, you can see multiple subscriptions once you start working.
Okay. Now, for now, if I have to
So,
practice, I have to just go by the resource group, right? I have to create a resource
correct,
group
correct.
there.
Correct. You can
Okay.
create a resource group, and under that, you have to keep organizing your resources like Blob, Data Lake, or ADF, whatever the services. So I just discussed in the previous session, right? How you need to organize
Right.
the things.
Sure, sure. Thanks a lot, Suresh.
Suresh,
Pavrish, you can go ahead.
yeah, my question is about the data compliance. Let's say there are some certain types of data which cannot be migrated outside of any country or outside any zone. So who is actually responsible for that and who handles that part?
Yeah, so sometimes what will happen, we do not want to move our data to another regions, right? So we have an options here. So integration runtime, okay. So you have to be create your own integration runtime. If you do not want to move your data to another region, you can just stick to that region. You have to specify that region while creating this integration runtime. Okay, so while creating the storage integration runtime itself, when you try to access the data right from the storage account for suppose, right? So we have while creating the link service itself to establish a connection to blob, we have to be choose all these options. Okay, so let's try to create that integration runtime, and maybe later point of time, I'll show you how exactly you need to keep that region specific data. You want to access the data only within that region. You do not want to move to another geographical location. And we will see that how exactly we need to configure going forward. Okay, using integration runtime concept.
Right. And is there any certain guidelines about that? I mean, in a specific case scenario from customer or any vendor?
Definitely, definitely. That customer can explain you. That customer can tell you that the data would not move around other regions, so you should be able to configure like that. Okay. But these days, as a data engineer, you need not worry about all these things. Somebody will create on behalf of you. That will be whoever is closely working with the customers, like architects, they will create on behalf of us. Okay.
Right, sounds good. Thank you.
Any other questions, Steve?
Yeah, actually, my question is REST API. Can you explain again? I'm not understanding
Yes.
REST API.
Yeah. So REST API, there are some REST endpoints, guys. Okay. So in storage accounts, we'll connect to that REST endpoint. Okay. Let me show you one thing. So in a blob storage,
Dishavadi.
so you can see here under the settings, right? We have some endpoints. So this is a blob service endpoint, and you can connect to this storage account using the REST API as well. Okay. So there are some endpoints where you need to connect using, if you want to connect the blob service, you can connect using some REST endpoint. It's HTTPS URL, right? The REST URL, right? So we can connect to this storage account using some REST endpoints as well. That's what I'm trying to say, securely. Okay. Because HTTPS in the sense it's secure, right? So HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, secure. If you're trying to connect using HTTP, it won't allow you. You got it, guys? Hello? To securely connecting to the storage account, we can use also REST API to connect to the storage account. Any other questions, Steve? If you don't have any questions, we'll wind up the session.
Hello, Hello?
Venkatesh, you already, yeah, Manala.
Hello.
Yeah, I have seen your question. If you are getting data from other sources like on-premises or other cloud services without blob storage like DB and all, how to connect, we tell you. Yeah, this is an advanced level, guys. Okay, so if you want to connect, this is for cloud. Blob in the sense this is the cloud.
ఇక్కడ
If you
పెట్టి
want to
ఇక్కడ
connect to that
దాని
on-premises or
ఇది మనకు
anywhere,
రెండు టేబుల్
any other
పెట్టుకోవచ్చు
cloud
కదా.
services provider, based on their network, based on the on-prem system is hosted, we can choose that integration runtime concept accordingly. If it is an on-premises, we have to install the self-hosted integration runtime in an Azure VM, or else we can install this in on-prem system where the on-prem system is resides, and we can connect securely to that, and we need to authenticate the key which we have generated from Azure Data Factory. This is bit advanced, guys. Okay, we can discuss one by one. So you can even connect to that using SHR at a high level, SHR using self-hosted integration runtime. We can connect to that.
ఆ? ఇక ఇప్పుడు అంటే మీరు పెద్ద కాలేదు కదా, చిన్నగా ఉన్నారు కదా,
Okay.
మీరు ఎట్లా పోతారు? ఉండండి ఉండండి ఉండండి. మీరు బ్యాగ్ చేసుకొని కిందికి వెళ్ళిపోండి, నేను వస్తాను.
Purna, can you go on mute, please?
Suresh.
Yes, sir.
No.
Hello. Hello.
Who is this?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, this is Mahesh.
Mahesh, go ahead.
Yeah, I have to create the containers. In containers also you have to upload the folder.
Okay.
What is the in creation of the how much um, files you have to create it? Like what is the limit of 100 GB or 200 GB like that?
No, there is
What?
no limitation, guys. There is no limitation with respect to storage account. Even you can load 100 GB, you can load 500 GB of data in a blob storage. There is no limitation with respect to storage account. You can load based on your source. You can load maybe 500 GB, 1 terabyte of data as well. Okay, 2 terabytes of data as well, 5 terabytes of data as well. There is no limitation with respect to storage account. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Also dependent on the subscription level. Like let's suppose if you've got a better subscription, you would be able to load more data, or is it like
No,
unlimited for
no,
everyone?
no, guys. It's not related to subscription. It's an so like in Microsoft is offering right now. You can load it. The volume of data it maybe differs, right? Maybe this year maybe you have 500 GB of data. Maybe next year the data is growing, right? So there is no limitation with respect to the data volume of data. You can load in as much of your data you can load into blob or data lake. Okay. Okay, guys. That's it for today. We can
Yeah,
connect again tomorrow.
Suresh, Naresh here.
Yeah,
Last
Naresh,
question.
right?
Suppose if I want to access storage account from ADF, so anything I need to give grant permissions in role level, thing level.
Yeah, so you have to be choose that based on the different authentications, guys. You have to choose while creating the storage account, and you no need to. I mean, while creating the storage, sometimes what will happen? You want to use managed identity. You have to be go to that access control. You have to create some role assignments accordingly, and you can connect to that storage account. Okay, so that we can discuss while creating while connecting to the storage account, what kind of authentications we have to connect to that corresponding storage account, and how we need to use this authentication types to connect to that, and where you need to provide an access, exactly how we need to create this role assignments and everything. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, that's it for today. We can connect again tomorrow. Have a great day all.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, guys.